If you've been challenged this last year, or if you've gone through any kind of a challenge in your life, this story is for you. Trees and Violins by Megan McKenna. Once upon a time, there was a master violin maker. His instruments were exquisite, and the sound that could be drawn from them was beyond description. He only accepted a small number of apprentices, and he took them through the long and arduous process of making a violin, from the choice of the tree to how to string the piece at the very end after the varnish. There was once an apprentice, an especially adept one, who had trouble with only one aspect of this process, the choice of wood. He had mastered all the other levels, but would balk at the choice of which tree to mark, to cut, to form the base of the violin. Finally, the master took him out to the forest with him. It was the dead of winter, a frightfully cold and windy day, with snow swirling and ice thickly hung in all the trees. They walked north, and the master started marking out the trees. "Why?" the apprentice queried. "Why these?" The master answered, "They face due north, and they take the brunt of the wind, the chill, and the ice. They make the best violins." They returned, and the storm grew stronger. And the student asked the teacher, "Master, doesn't it bother you to think about the trees that you mark standing alone in the wind, standing against all this ice and fury? Have you no pity for them?" Master eyed him and smiled. "No, not at all. You see, they are being tuned. They are being tuned."
I feel like I'm pretty well tuned by now. Today's sermon is another revolution around the sun. As we know, that's what basically we're marking is another 365 days, starting over again. Well, it's January 1st, 2023. How are we feeling about it? Anybody? Things are better. Things are better. COVID is not as bad. COVID is not as bad. What's that? We have vaccines. We have vaccines. Anyone else? Gas prices are lower. Yay. What'd you say, Sarah? Tempting optimism. Tempting optimism. Trump's influence is fading. All right. So do we remember January 1st, 2022 and 2021 and 2020? Those have been some extraordinary years. Years that most were eager to put behind them with hopes that the world would be normal again when the clock struck midnight on January 1st of the new year. What makes January 1st so special as to make us celebrate it with fireworks, parties, traditions, food, predictions, and of course, resolutions? Some will say it's because it is the chance to start a new year off on the right foot, to put our worries and mistakes behind us and start anew. But why January 1st? Why not each year on our birthday or March 11th? Many cultures celebrate New Year's on different days. Chinese New Year are weeks in January or February. Islamic New Year is usually in July or August. Jewish New Year is usually in September. Wiccan New Year is October 31st. By the way, in addition to the longer days here in Northern Hemisphere, there's another astronomical occurrence around January 1st each year that's also related to Earth's year, as defined by our orbit around the sun. That's Earth's perihelion, or the closest point to the sun, that happens every year in early January. In 2023, January 4th is the perihelion. In the past, some New Year's celebrations took place on an equinox, a day when the sun is above the Earth's equator and night and day are equal in length. In many cultures, the March or vernal equinox marks a time of transition and new beginnings. And so cultural celebrations of a new year were natural for that equinox. So the bottom line is that we're celebrating New Year's Day on January 1st by tradition. Our modern New Year's Day celebration stems from the ancient two-faced, not my words, two-faced Roman god Janus, the god of beginnings and endings, doors and gates, passageways and transitions, who is said to look both toward the past and to the future simultaneously, and after whom the month of January is named. So why do we mark and celebrate such a routine, dare I say, made up holiday? According to a retired Harvard instructor named David Ropeek in his article for Psychology Today, it has to do with survival. Why we really celebrate New Year's Day. And he says, our celebration of what's ahead is rooted in our most ancient instincts. At 1 second past midnight on January 1st, the day will change from Tuesday to Wednesday, usually a transition of no special significance. Well, this year it wasn't Tuesday to Wednesday, it was when he wrote the article. But somehow we've decided that this change, which will end 1 year and begin the next, is different. This unique tick of the clock has always prompted us to both celebrate and step outside the day-to-day activity we're always busy with to reflect, look back, take stock, assess how we did, and resolve to do better. Save perhaps for our birthdays, no other moment in our year gets this sort of attention. Why does the start of the new year carry such special symbolism? And why is its celebration so common around the world, as it has been for at least as long as there have been calendars? Behavior this ubiquitous must surely be tied to something intrinsic in the human animal, something profoundly meaningful and important, given all the energy and resources we invest, not just in the celebration, but also, but also in our efforts to make good on a fresh set of resolutions, even though we mostly fail to keep them. It may be that the symbolism we attach to this moment is rooted in one of the most powerful motivations of all, our motivation to survive. The celebration part is obvious. As our birthdays do, New Year's Day provides us the chance to celebrate having made it through another 365 days, the unit of time by which we keep chronological score of our lives. Phew. Another year over and we're still here. Time to raise our glasses and toast survival. But what about those resolutions? Aren't they about survival too? Living healthier, better, longer? New Year's resolutions are examples of the universal human desire to have some control over what lies ahead, because the future is unsettlingly unknowable. Not knowing what's to come means we don't know what we need to know to keep ourselves safe. To counter that worrisome powerlessness, we do things to take control. We resolve to diet and exercise, quit smoking, start saving. It doesn't even matter whether we hold our resolve and make good on these promises. Committing to them, at least for a moment, gives us a feeling of more control over the uncertain days to come. Interestingly, New Year's resolutions also commonly include things like treating people better, making new friends, paying off debts. It's been so throughout history. The Babylonians would return borrowed objects. The Jews seek and offer forgiveness. The Scots go first footing, visiting neighbors to wish them well. How does all this social resolving connect to survival? Simple. We are social animals. We have evolved to depend on others literally for our health and safety. Treating people well is a good way to be treated well. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, it turns out, is a great survival strategy. And many people resolve to pray more. That makes sense in terms of survival too. Pray more and an omnipotent force is more likely to keep you safe. Jews pray at the start of their new year to be inscribed in the book of life for one more year. And though death is inescapable throughout history, humans have dealt with the fear of mortality by affiliating with religions that promise happy endings. Pray more and death is less scary. There are hundreds of good luck rituals woven among New Year's celebrations, also practiced in the name of exercising a little control over fate. The Dutch, for whom the circle is a symbol of success, eat donuts. Greeks bake special vasilopita cake with a coin inside, bestowing good luck in the coming year on whoever finds it in his or her slice. Fireworks on New Year's Eve started in China millennia ago as a way to chase off evil spirits. The Japanese hold New Year's Bonenkai, or forget the year parties to bid farewell to the problems and concerns of the past year and prepare for a better new one. Disagreements and misunderstandings between people are supposed to be resolved and grudges set aside. In a New Year's ritual for many cultures, houses are scrubbed to sweep out the bad vibes and make room for better ones. It's fascinating, really, to see how common so much of this is. Fireworks, good luck rituals, resolutions to give us the pretense of control over the future. Everywhere, New Year's is a moment to consider our weaknesses and how we might reduce the vulnerabilities they pose, and to do something about the scary powerlessness that comes from thinking about the unsettling unknown of what lies ahead. As common as these shared behaviors are across both history and culture, it's fascinating to realize that the special ways that people note this unique passage of one day into the next are probably all manifestations of the human animal's fundamental imperative for survival. So how do you reassure yourself against the scariest thing the future holds and the only sure thing that lies ahead, the inescapable reality that you will someday die? Pass out the donuts, the vasilopita, and the grapes, light the fireworks, and raise a glass to toast to survival. So that's Mr. Roper's take on that. And that's all well and good, but maybe I'm just not that deep. Maybe I'm an outlier in Mr. Ropek's analysis. I was home alone with my dog Sam and my cat Floof last night, and we were fast asleep by 10:30. Didn't make any resolutions, didn't pop any champagne. I was awakened by a call from my son at 4 minutes after 12 to wish me a Happy New Year. I heard some fireworks in the neighborhood when he woke me up, and I promptly went right back to sleep. No control-seeking resolutions for survival were made. I strive to do better, be better, eat better, swear less, pray more, and so on pretty regularly throughout the year. In fact, I find the pressure of making a promise on January 1st and then breaking it is less of a comfort for feeling that I have some control over my own survival, and more of a stressor and self-confidence breaker, and not at all conducive to a happier life for me. And I'm okay with accepting that celebrating New Year's is just a fun thing to do, if you're so inclined, and to take time out from our busy, overburdened lives to stop, put the phone down, take a moment to reflect on the past and identify our hopes for the future, just because we hope that it will bring joy to our lives and to others. I hope that the new year brings you all that you're hoping for, and that you may celebrate every day as if it were a new beginning, because it is. This is the time when we will recite our offertory words.